Hey guys, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, so I've got the FT Aviator set up on a tripod here. So we're going to try that out again with the Phantom 4 again. I've got the GoPro Hero 7 pointed out, so hopefully you guys will be able to see what the drone is doing. Nice wide angle lens on that. And yeah, we'll mess around and I just want to see what this can do. It was a little bit awkward for me the other day trying to hold it, so I want to try it on a tripod. I'm messing around here. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's not, this is a fairly cheap little tripod, so it does, the FT Aviator is kind of moving around there a little bit on it, but I think it'll be okay. In any case, let me get things fired up and we'll give it a shot here. So this is the setup that I'm using for today's video. I have the FT Aviator set up on a tripod, and there's a park bench here. So I'm setting the remote control on the park bench, and then I've got the Canon M50 set up to record my narration, and then total of 3 tripods here. I've got the GoPro Hero 7 set up to show what the drone is doing, and there's the drone on the landing pad. So quite a little setup. I thought you guys might be interested in how I'm pulling this off. We'll get the thing rolling now. Here's the UAV forecast for today: 74 degrees with 2-mile-an-hour winds. A lot of gadgets to turn on here, guys. So thought I had the lights on. Yeah, here we go. I found it. So it's connecting. So we're connected. I've got GoFly lit up. I just remembered all the things I need to turn on here, guys. I need to turn on the GoPro. Hey, GoPro is recording. Okay, I think we're ready to rock it here. And what my intention is just to try some simple maneuvers and see if it helps me to have that. And there, I've got the screen up on the FT Aviator app. I just want to see if this tripod will help me do a little better job of controlling the drone. So I'm going to look at the drone status here real quick. Everything looks good. I see nothing on here that should stop us from flying. Let's try that format button again. Yeah, I push that format button. I don't think it does anything. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's start recording. We should be in 4K 30. And yeah, I see no reason why not to take off. So I'm going to hit the takeoff button on the FT Aviator itself. And it prompts me, do I want to take off? And there goes the drone. Let's take it up just a little bit. So we'll let the drone hover for a second and get used to where it's at. Drop the gimbal here a little bit. Okay, I'm in turtle mode here, just on 1. So let's just go. Well, I want to get some more. I like getting altitude. That way you know you're clear of things. So let's get some altitude, and we'll go forward. See if I can get out there far enough that the GoPro can see it. Hopefully the GoPro can see it there. And yeah, so let's do a quick yaw maneuver. There we've got, you can see us down there. It's looking back at us. So let's yaw back around. Yaw is still pretty quick, even in turtle mode. So I'm going to do. They say that it's easy to do a figure 8. So I'm just going to visually look at the drone and see if I can do a figure 8 here. So we're going to go forward and to my left, and then around. And it's a little bit, you know, I guess I'm going to tell you on my wrist here, it's a little bit awkward. So now we're going to go the other direction. So it was easier for me to go left than right, and I don't know if, you know, I'm controlling it with my right hand. So that's pretty simple. Would that have been any harder or easier with the regular DJI remote control? I don't know. But I want to try, for instance, one of the things that I always have trouble with is doing a good droney. What happens is I always end up cross-coupling and yawing one way or the other. So let's bring it down and bring it into us. Which, there, I turned it the wrong way. That was just me. You would confused about, you know, the drone is pointed towards me instead of away from me. So let's bring it back in front of us. And you know, that, I gotta admit, that's pretty intuitive. And I'm looking at the fluidity at the lights on top of the controller here, and it tells you what exactly the direction the drone is going. So what I'm going to do is try and reverse and go up. And like I said, one of the problems I always have is I end up twisting the drone when I do that with a regular controller. So we're just going to go back and give it a little altitude. And I gotta be honest with you, it looks to me like the drone is moving to my left. But that may just be me. But yeah, that's something that I always struggled with before. So let's bring it right back to us. And drop altitude. Do the reverse droney. And I gotta tell you, that's really easy with this thing. Like I said, when I use the regular radio, the DJI radio, I always end up with doing an inadvertent roll or an inadvertent yaw. And this was perfectly straight, so drop her down here. I gotta admit, that's pretty not too bad. So I don't know, let's go up now and let's see. I'm at this and I'll be doing this by looking at the iPhone here. I'm going to see if I can do a circle around this picnic shelter that I'm at here. So let's grab some altitude. And we're going to, let's back it off a little bit. Which I got to admit, that was pretty easy to do. So I'm going to turn it and get it pointed. I'm going to get some more altitude. Altitude is your friend, as every pilot will tell you. So, just need to orient myself here a little bit. So I am going to see, so it's facing me, so I need to turn, I need to lean the FT Aviator to the right, and I'm going to try and circle around the picnic shelter here. So I need to roll and yaw at the same time is what I'm trying to do here. So let's see how well I can do that. Yeah, so I overshoot it just a little. So we're doing all right. Yeah, there you saw I was a little bit jerky, a little too much yaw. I'm going to grab some altitude. Let's back it off just a little bit. What I don't want to do is hit one of those trees, or I want to make sure I'm high enough that I'm clearing everything. So let's center it again, and see I overshot it there. Let's see if we can center on the picnic shelter. Put it right in the middle. And I'm going to try that again. I'm comfortable now that I got plenty of altitude. And again, I am just in turtle mode. So what I'm trying to do is roll and yaw at the same time. Yeah, and there I overshot it, so. I mean, we're doing it. And I think with practice, you'd probably get pretty good at it. But as you can see, you know, I keep overshooting it, which I'll be honest with you is probably no different than what I'd do if I was trying to do this with the regular DJI controller. I always tell people I'm not the best. I'm not the best with the sticks, and that's probably true. So okay, so we did that, and it seemed to work out okay. I've got the drone in sight again now. It was behind me there during that maneuver, which is interesting because obviously if you know, I was able to do that with the by just looking at the FPV. So let's turn the drone around and pick up the camera. That's one of the things, the gimbal control on this thing is awesome. So what I haven't done with this guy is flown it very far. So I'm going to go up to 3 on the speed mode. So the numbers on the FT Aviator, turtle mode is 1 and rabbit mode is 5. So we're right smack dab in the middle. Let's grab some altitude. Let's get up about 100 feet, which is pretty easy to do. And we're going full stick forward. We're just going to fly around here a little bit. One of the things I don't want to do is leave the confines of the park here and make sure I'm not flying over any people or anything. Obviously, I'm not as confident as I otherwise would be with this control. I do kind of like having the controller mounted on a tripod, although this tripod I'm using is a really cheap one, and it probably isn't as sturdy as you otherwise would like. Okie dokie. So let's reduce some altitude here. Let's turn it around, bring it towards us, and we'll drop a little altitude. And bring it back. Let me see if I can get it pointed at us here. So that worked pretty good. I was able to do that without much problem. And of course with the DJI controller, that would have been second nature to me. So let's turn it around the other way and see if we can do a kind of a reverse droney. I'm going to pick up the camera and I am going to gain altitude and go up. So this is full tilt forward. Gaining altitude. Okay, stop there. I do not want to go past the confines of the park here. So that, as you can see, that yaw there, it was a little bit abrupt. That's in 3, and so the yaw speed is pretty darn fast. So let's bring it back to us. So I'm going to stay at this altitude and just go right over the top of us here into the parking lot. See if I can drop the gimbal. I do like that gimbal control. Well, there we have, even though I have it in Do Not Disturb, I still get those notifications on my iPhone. and there it's behind me, so I had a little bit of FPV breakup, but I'm sure that's due to probably the DJI controller. It's behind me and the controller is pointed the other direction. Now obviously that's a problem, right? Because you don't have that controller in your hand with the FT Aviator. So let's bring it down and turn it around just a little bit here. See if we can face this again. And let's drop some altitude. And bring it in. So that was pretty easy. Let me see if I can so with a regular controller, like I could bring this thing in front of the camera really easy. One of the things now is I'm having a little FPV issue with my iPhone. It's kind of in the heat of the day here. So I'm going to try and move it a little bit into the shade. That's difficult to see. What happens to my iPhone when it heats up, you really lose FPV. But so it dims the screen and it's really frustrating. But let me see if I can bring it in and in front of the camera here. So these fine controls I'm very comfortable with the DJI controller. Let's see, and by the way, I am in mode 3, so I'm going to turn it down to mode 1, which is turtle mode. So let's do a yaw here. So that's pretty cool. Let's again do a droney. Let's go backwards and up. So there again, that is in turtle mode, which is probably the way to do that. I don't know if you can see on the camera here. Of course, I moved the camera a little bit, but it was a little bit awkward pulling that all the way back. But I do like the situational awareness on this control, because you can tell just exactly where the drone is. If I move it back to my left a little bit, yeah, so it shows me right where the drone is and where the camera is pointing. That's freaking awesome. So boy, unfortunately my iPhone is really dim, and there again, that's another problem with the FT Aviator, because it does not work with the Crystal Sky monitor. So you know, that's going to be an issue if you're out in the sun like I am today. Yeah, FPV is a problem. At least it has been for me with my iPhone XS. And it's not even that hot today. Today it's about 70 degrees out here, but I'm working the iPhone pretty hard, right? It's doing it's doing a screen recording, plus it's running the FT Aviator app, so I'm sure that is creating some heat that causes it to do that. But nonetheless, you want it to work. And if I had the Crystal Sky, you know, that wouldn't be as much of an issue. Of course, then again, with the Crystal Sky, you'd have to figure out how to mount it with the FT Aviator, which is another problem in and of itself. So I'm looking down here. We are getting, we're about 7 minutes of battery left. So let's make one more run to the corner of the park over here, which, boy, I am having a hard time seeing on my iPhone. And then we'll do a return to home. Yeah, I mean, I just am, I've got physical eyes on the drone, so I know where it's at, but I'm telling you, my FPV is all but gone here. So with that in mind, because I'm having difficulty seeing my my FPV, I am going to hit the return to home. I could do it on the, you know what, God, well, we've got just a little battery. I'm going to try something and see if I can switch to the DJI controller on the app here. So I just switched it to the DJI controller. And that's right, you saw me do a yaw there. Real quick yaw, as a matter of fact. Okay, so let's go back to the FT Aviator. And it's giving us a low battery warning. So that is possible. I'm glad I tried that. So I switched back to the FT Aviator. So now, yeah, the FT Aviator is controlling the drone. You saw that with the yaw. Okay, so let's hit the return to home button on the FT Aviator. And we want to confirm. And the drone is on its way back. And I don't know if the drone will then so what happened before is that we got down so far and then it asked to land. So we'll see if it does that again. And I don't know if precision landing works with this or not. Drone's coming down. The cool thing about the Phantom 4 is you don't have to worry about it mowing the grass with those landing legs. There's, you know, those other drones. Man, it looks like it's right on the pad here. It's coming down. It's pretty darn close. Man, look at that. Yeah, it landed right smack dab in the middle of the pad, and that was with, I didn't touch anything. Thank you, DJI. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so so that was a pretty good flight, and yeah, we got to try out the FT Aviator. Let me stop recording with the drone here. Let me get everything shut down, and we'll do a quick conclusion. Hey, okay guys, so we had a successful flight with the Phantom 4 using the FT Aviator. I had it mounted on a tripod here, and this is just I just want to show you this to you. This is a cheap little tripod I bought off of Amazon, one of the Amazon Basics, if you can see that on the side there. I think it was like 15 or 16 bucks, so nothing too fancy. And it worked, but it really isn't sturdy enough. So you're going to want a more substantial tripod if you're mounting the FT Aviator. I mean, it worked, but you still had some movement, so it wasn't quite what you would want it to be. As far as control, it works. Oh, I forgot to shut the FT Aviator off. Okay, hey, I got it. Hey, I'm a genius. So anyway, it worked okay. Although, what I found was, particularly backing up when I was pulling back, it was still a little awkward when I was in full reverse there. It does solve the problem of cross coupling. You saw me do a couple of different dronies and straight as an arrow, and I always struggle to do that when I'm using the two stick remote, because I end up just moving this left stick a little bit and I end up doing a little bit of a yaw or something. So this definitely solves that problem. As far as the rest of the maneuvers that I did with it, trying to do a circle around the picnic shelter here, a figure 8, some of those other things, I gotta be honest with you, I think they would have been just as easy or easier with the DJI remote. I didn't see a big advantage there. There again, this is only my second time out with this thing, so I'm not throwing it under the bus, and I'm not telling you that is a definitive answer. Because you just, I definitely, hey, I've got a lot of time on a 2-sticks. This is only the second time I've had this guy out. Although, I'm an online gamer, so I'm used to using a single joystick like this. It's okay. I guess I'm not, what I'm telling you is I'm not sold on it yet. And will this be something that I use instead of the DJI remote? I can almost tell you no. Certain times I'll probably want to use this, but most of the time not, and it's simply because of that whole thing of having to hook this up to the DJI remote. So it gets back to, you either have to do like I did and you find a park bench or take a table with you or something to set the DJI remote and hook this thing onto, or you use that strap to carry it around your neck. And I didn't fly with it like that, but I've tried it like that a couple of times, just setting it up, and it, to me, was just tough. It was just awkward, because when you have it around your neck and you're using it as a controller, you're holding it. When you're using this, it's just dead weight around your neck. So that's not the best answer. That's particularly with the Phantom drones. It's a heavier remote. So I haven't tried it with my Mavic yet, and that's probably the next thing we'll do with this, is we'll get my Mavic 2 Zoom out, and then Scott Parazinski told me a trick where he just takes that Mavic 2 and takes one of the little ears on the remote and clips it into his pants pocket, and that's what holds the remote, and then you just got the cable up and you got this in your hand. So we'll give that a shot with the Mavic 2 and see how that does, and also see how the controller operates with the Mavic 2. I gotta be honest with you, I was comfortable in turtle mode. I turned it up to 3 at one point. That was, and that's probably, again, just because I'm not used to it, that was probably as fast as I'd want to go with it. You'd probably take some practice before you kicked it all the way up to rabbit mode there at 5. But that said, what I have to say is everything does work as advertised. It is exactly what Fluidity tells you in their ads, and FT Aviator. There's no disappointment for me with regard to advertised functionality or quality control, etc. It's a good quality product. It's made out of plastic. Obviously, if it was metal, it'd be heavier, and so that'd be a disadvantage. So I'm sure that's why they made that decision. I'll be honest with you, when I use this joystick, it feels like my Logitech gaming joystick. I mean, that's almost exactly what it has, that exact same feel. So I'm just throwing that out there. So the really cool thing about this joystick, and I wasn't able to show it to you on camera, is the situational awareness that you get at the top of the stick here. You always know what direction your drone is at with regard to where you're standing, and you always know which direction the nose of the drone and the camera is pointed. So that's pretty critical. That's something that would help you. You would just never get lost with this guy. So I guess there's probably not much more to add. The drone footage will speak for itself, and the footage we took. I showed you all the gear and everything that I set up for this, and I carried a bunch of stuff out here, and a lot of it was just to shoot the video, but part of it was in order to cope with this guy too. Whereas if I was just flying with the DJI remote, I wouldn't have this tripod and going through those extra steps with the app. Oh, that's the other thing that I should mention again is on the app, and I mentioned it in my first flight, but I just want to remind you, the only functionality you have is flying. You don't have any of the automated functions that you get in the DJI Go 4 app. which I like using that stuff. So that's kind of a big deal to me. I wish you could get to them on the Fluidity app, but you can't. So that's going to affect. It will affect how often I use this. No doubt about it. So anyway, that's about it. Hey, I hope you liked this video and you got some use out of this. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of video, please subscribe to my channel and hit that bell notification so you know when something else is coming out. And I really enjoy your comments, so leave a comment and a like. That'd be awesome. And yeah, most of all, there again, I just really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. And hey, we'll see you on the next one.